So, hello everyone. My name is Ashibetran. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching me. So, I'm about to bring to you a presentation for a Linux deployment proposal for Promised Land New Independence Missouri Data Center. So, this system will support 38 employing 38 employees across four different departments with secured file sharing using this. I'm going to use the Ubuntu Server 24.04 on AWS infrastructure. So today I'll demonstrate the full configured system, including the storage, the users management, the permissions, and the security measure. So let's begin. Let's begin with that. So I'm going to take you right to my system. So as you can see, first let me show you the infrastructure. So we have a practically in the infrastructure we have deployed this is AWS instance, Amazon EC2 instance using Ubuntu. If you look at it, you're going to notice that the instance is running in the West region. You can see the West region here in Oregon. That is where the instance is running. US East to Oregon region 2. There in Oregon, it permits. This is for optimal performance and accessibility. So the instance IP, this is a public IP. The instance IP, you can see status run. This is the instance IP. It's running. This is the public DNS. You can see the host name, and here you can. This is the public IP that I can use to access from afar. Now, if we go to these are some of the details about it. You can look at the storage. In the storage, first I configured two separate EBS volumes. The first is an 8 gig, as you can see. It has an 8 gig root volume for the operating system and core services, and then the second is the 100 gigabyte data volume dedicated exclusively to share files. So these architectures separate the system file from user data, which enhances performance. This is going to enhance performance and simplify backups and prevents users' files from filling up the root system. So now we also let's look at the security. So because security begins at the network level in AWS Security Group, I've configured inbound rules. You can look at the security. I've configured inbound rules. Here are the inbound rules that I've configured here. You can notice that the inbound rules only allows port 22. It only allows port 22. If you can see it only allows port 22 for remote administration, and Samba port 445, Samba port 445 and 139 for file sharing. All rules are restricted to specific IP addresses. They are restricted to specific IP addresses for added security. So all other incoming traffic is denied by default, providing what defense in depth alongside. So that is it. So now the next thing I want to show you is the SSH connection. So now let me connect. As you can see, I've already connected using SSH because there are many ways you can do this. You can see that it's already I've connected using SSH. You can use. I've already created it, so I had to access this using SSH. You can see that I'm already running here. So now this helps do this. So when I have connected remotely using SSH, I use Git batch to connect. When I run the the LS block, you can notice that. Let me show you the disk configuration. When you run the command, it displays the configuration. You can I believe it is visible here. You can see the 8 gig, the 8 gig. Yeah, yes, it is visible. You can see the 8 gig, root disk containing the operating system. It includes the boot. It includes also the boot EFI and the root file system. So below it, you can also see the 100 gig volume for with a single partition, the SRV / shared. Looking at the DF now, when you come down, you look at the DF. You can see that we have a shared volume that is mounted. We have a shared volume that is mounted here, which is 98 gigabyte, 98 gigabyte, 93 gigabyte is available. 44 kilobyte has already been used. 44 kilobyte with 93 are available. You see, so the FSB, when you run the /FSB, when you run it, you know, it shows that this volume is configured to mount automatically using the UUID. So it shows that this volume is ready to mount automatically using the UUID. So, and the EXT4 file system provides reliability and supports the future we need for file sharing. So this one is going to provide reliability and the support we need for file sharing. So I ran the update. The system maintenance and security are critical. So I've configured for automatic security updates using unattended upgrade packages. So running the app update shows system checks all configuration. So when we came here, we ran the app updates. It just checked all the configurations, repositories, including even the main Ubuntu archives. You can see it checks Ubuntu archives throughout here, including the main Ubuntu archives and security updates. So the system reports all packages updates at the end. It reports all packages update at the end, confirming we are currently with all security patches. So this automated update mechanism ensures the server receives critical security patches without requiring manual intervention. So you just need to come, you run it, and then it's going to receive it. The server will definitely receive it. You notice that it's done. So now we are going to move into the group configuration. After we have checked the updates, we are going to move into the group configuration. When I run the operations, you notice that the users and group mirrors the organizational structure. So I have created 6 primary group alignments with which aligns with the organizational the organization chart. So when I run the code, you notice that in the group operation, we can see the people who are there. We can see Richard Duran, Matt Specs, we can see Dan Clark, Johnson San, and many others who are found there. So the group operation includes Richard Duran's, Johnson, Kamel, Mike, and the others, and all of them work across that department. The application group, when you come down, you check the application group. The application group also we have Brian. In the application group we have Brian, because now I run the infrastructure. In the infrastructure group, Brian again, since he works in both teams, because Brian works with the application and Brian also works with the infrastructure. Because this application, you can notice that is Brian working here. You come also in the infrastructure, you notice that Brian is still a member of the group. So we also have the CRM group, where we have Cole and the others who are part of the group. The CRL, we have them. We have Ethan Savage. We also have the admin, IT admin, where we have Joseph. We have Brian again. So finally we have the career role group, which includes the career role groups, which includes career shoemaker. So all of these, they have the people for the career O group have exclusive executive read only oversight. So we are going to move into the next, which is the user account example. The user account. Let me demonstrate specific user configuration. I'm going to move to demonstrate specific users configuration. So if I ID someone like Richard, you can notice that Richard, when you look at Richard's account, it shows that he's a member of the operation group. You can see, if you take Richard, you notice that Richard is a member of the operation group. You can notice that Richard has, because the UID is 1007, which is this is it. The group ID, right, is 107, and this gives him what? A standard user's access to the operation group. If we look at Joseph, we're going to notice that Joseph is both a member of the group in the infrastructure group, and he's also a member in the IT group. So he is in this group. The IT group is also in the structural group. So it gives him what? Pseudo privilege for system administrative tasks. It gives Joseph pseudo privilege. Now when we go to career shoemaker, we notice that career shoemaker here, with the read only access across all departments for oversight. So Brian, when we do the same for Brian. Brian shows that he has cross functional ability. He's a member of both the operation group, and also he's a member also of the infrastructural group, reflecting his work across both them. Excuse me. So this reflection, this shows flexibility, right? It shows flexibility across the groups, so they can easily function in their various groups. You can see the group numbers, the group ID. I beg your pardon. You can see the group ID for each and every one of them. So now let me show the file saver and permission. Now, when regards to file saver and permission, you notice that when we run this code here, it gives us now the slash srvs slash shared dictionary contains several folders for the department. It contains several folders for the department, the application department, the CRM, the general infrastructure, and the operations. You can see that here. So notice that also the lost plus found directory. We have the lost plus found directory, which is a standard for the ext4 file system. So each department folder has specific permission. Each department folder has specific permission. Looking at the operation, you draw their permission to the read, write, execute, read, write. So the S in the group session is the set jig byte, which ensures that any new file inherits what the operation group ownership. So now when this happens, when we run the excuse me please. So when we run the operation file, you notice that it doesn't have permission in that particular it is not be given access to that file. So you need to use the sudo so that it can access the informations that are found in that particular file. So this the get FACL shows access control. The file is owned by root with operation. So the users get permission. He needs to get permission to read, write, and to execute. Critically, you can see that the carrier row group has read and executed permission. This is a default ACL that provides carrier ShowMichael with only read oversight across all without modification. So you can read oversight across all department without modification. Yeah, you can read oversight across all department without modification. If you can see here for him, root owner, days, group owner, carrier, he can read without modification. You see, but you can read, but mask can read, write, and execute, while others they can. If you are not part of it, you have no permission. So that is how it works. So now we are going to move to permission testing and operation users. We are going to move to permission testing and operations user. Let me demonstrate these permission actions. So I'm going to first of all switch account to Richard, right? So I did the switch account to Richard. So I'm switching account. As Richard, I can successfully create files. You see, I successfully created a file. Looking at permission, let's see the file is owned by Richard with operation group. You see, when we look at the permission, it is owned by Richard, you know, with operation goods. So you can see that the file is owned by Richard with operation group exact as defined. So the group ownership was automatically inherited due to what the set git bit we saw earlier. So now let's watch when Richard tries to create a file in the application folder. Now we use Richard to try to create another file in the application order. We notice that permission is denied. He cannot access this. This maintains data security and prevents accidental or unauthorized access across the platform. So let's look at carriers read only access. Let's look at carriers read only access. So we switch user to carrier, then we cut the file for operations. So I can successfully read Richard's file. So as carrier, you can successfully read Richard's file. I can successfully read Richard's file created. The read operation works perfectly. I can also list the contents. The content of the file can be listed. You can list the contents. So seeing both Richard text and the text up, you can. However, when carrier attempts to create or modify a file, permission is denied. You notice that permission is denied here. When he attempts to create or modify the file, permission is practically denied. This is exactly the behavior we want. Executive oversight with the ability to view all departments, but no ability to accidentally modify or to delete delete files. So this read only access is enforced through the ACL we configured. So now we are moving to security and services. Let's look at Samba Saver file. Move to security and services. We look at Samba Saver file. So when the command is being run, the file sharing is provided by Samba, which allows Windows, Mac, even Linux clients to access what the shared folder. Looking at the operations shared configured, you can see the path. So when you look at the operation shared configured, you can see the path points to the slash. You can see the path here. It's pointing to the slash srv/share/application. You can see the path for each and every one of them. So with valid operations for the group, it gives the path. It gives valid operation for the group. So this create what? So the mask that is being created, we have a create mask of 0700 and a mask of directory mask of 02770 to ensure consistency permission on new files. So the first group setting guarantees that all files, with this first group setting, it guarantees that all files are owned by operations. So all files are owned by operations, no matter what happens. All files are owned by. So this status shows how Samba is active and running since February. So it gives you Samba is active and running since February. If you can check, 2nd February 2026. So this is enabled, meaning it will start automatically on boot, right? Since it's enabled, it starts automatically on boot. It starts automatically on boot. So Samba is ready to serve connection from what? Network clients. It is active. You can see it here. The Samba is active. It is running since this, and it is practically great. So now let's look at the firewall configuration. We move to the firewall configuration. When we run the for the firewall configuration, when we run the sudo, excuse me please, so when we run the sudo ufw status verbose, we notice that the uncomplicated firewall provides host-based security in addition to the AWS security group we already had. So the firewall status shows it is active. Number one, you can see when we run the code, we notice that number one, the status shows that it is active. It is very active with login set to low. The default policy allows all incoming traffics. It allows all incoming traffic. It allows them. The default policies. It instead deny all incoming. We deny all incoming traffic. You can see deny incoming, deny, but out allows the outgoing traffic. Looking at the rules, port 22 for SSH. Port 22 for SSH. You can see is allowed from anywhere through in production. This would be restricted further. Port 445, 139, 137, and 138. All of these are allowed for Samba files sharing. Both TCP and UDP protocols are needed. So this configurations works in conjunction with the security group to provide defense in depth. You see, it works in conjunction with the security group to provide defense in depth. So now I want to show you some sudo configurations that I did for this particular project. So when you run the sudo cat, this shows that the IT group sudo access, all of them have that. So administrative access follows the principle of less privilege. So the sudo configuration shows the member of the IT group departments can execute all commands as users. This is limited to our three: Mark, Matt, Spike, Brian, and Joseph. You see, it is limited to them, to those three. When I check Joseph sudo privilege, it is reported that what is not allowed. Is not allowed. You see, it's not allowed. When you check Joseph privilege, it is reported that he is not allowed to run sudo. Wait, this shows there may be a configuration issue. Let's try verify. Looking at the early group, Joseph is in the IT admin group, so he should have access, but specifically users check isn't showing it correct. So when I check Duram, who is not in the admin, the system correctly reports he is not. When we check for Duram, we notice that he is not part of it, so he can't access. This demonstrates that the regular user do not have elevated privilege. Now I want to show how tasks are being scheduled there. So automation ensures long-term system reliability. So automation ensures long-term system reliability. So when we run the first line, when we run the code sudo cron tab -l, we notice that the first line schedule a system that reboots at what 3 a.m. a system that reboots at 3 a.m. on January 1st every 2 years. A system that reboots at 3 a.m. on January 1st every 2 years. Notion. So this ensures that the system gets cleans, restarts periodically to clear any memory leak or long running process. So the second line runs updates automatically Sundays, right? This is the second line. It runs updates automatically on Sundays at 2 a.m. That's what you see here on Sunday at 2 a.m. Automatically on Sunday at 2 a.m. This executes the app updates, the app upgrades, login results to var. It sends the results here to the var/log/automatic update .log. So this combines with unattended upgrades from what security patches. This ensures our system stays current and secured without manual intervention. So this is very important for the cron job. So the final statement, when you look at these, everything is very, very active and everything is okay. When you look at this, everything is very, very active and very up. So when we take the system summary, let me provide the final. Also, all the critical services are active. Samba, all the critical services are active. Samba is okay. Samba is okay, and all the critical services are Samba. All of them are working. They're working so perfectly. So the storage shows shared volume. Volume is 98 gigabyte total, and 1% utilization with 93 gig that is available, right? It shows 93 gig is available. Only 1% has been used. Sorry about that. And plenty of room for growth. So we have 4 departments managing. So we have 4 departments that is being managed throughout. The 4 department is being managed throughout. Managed 4 department groups configured and managing access toward the 38 employers in the organization. In summary, this deployment provide promised land with a secured. It is very secured and scalable and maintainable file saver. So this system implements a proper access control, automated security updates, and it also have comprehensive monitoring and following industrial best practice. So all the services are operational, ready to support the Independence Data Center facility. So thank you very much for your time. If there is any question or any comment, I would love to have it. Thank you.